A minute was too long for me because I couldn't figure out some things. A minute was too long for me because it was so many things. And I shared earlier that we have layers that we're walking through. What do you have to do for the court system? What is the judge asking for now? And for all of those things that you... Hey now, how is everybody doing? Welcome to Alert Diaries with Tanya E. Today, I'm going to share a past lesson that will help you reset because there are moments in our lives where we need a reminder. Let's listen. Because now you've got to lay a new normal. Now you've got to lay a newer foundation. Writing down the patterns of your marriage will give you clarity so that you have something that you can use as a backdrop. These are some of the things that I know I had to do. So I want you to take one thing about what's going on in your world and work on it for 100 days. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I say 100 days. 100 days gives you the mindset of a 90-day reset. But you have extra 2 weeks that gives you sort of an overlay to really be clear. So pick one thing you know you want in your future now. If there's some skill set that you feel you need to help you move into a better direction, because after my divorce, I knew I had to rediscover Tanya. And I used those 3 C's as one of my first tools. I had to get clear. I had to be clear about who I was. And I discovered I didn't know me. I forgot some pieces of me. So I decided to pick for 100 days. What's my favorite color? I went through the color palette. Now, at the beginning, where we all think that this is really simple. Yes, we got to go back to basics because there's some things you need to reset in your heart and be clear in your soul so that you have confidence whenever you encounter moments that will show up. Deciding that teal is still my favorite color was intentional because at that time after my divorce, I couldn't think. I struggled. You need to learn to say no. Sometimes that's a thing. Pick something over the next 100 days that you'll just say no to. Just a random no. That may be what you need. But choosing my color was the easier start for me. If you got to create what you need along the way while you're figuring it out, that's what makes the 100 days so amazing. You can give yourself a week to assess. Oh, that didn't work out like I planned, but this is still my goal. So stick with the goal, have the time period so it's measurable, and then you start making the adjustments that you need in between. I wanted to do something, but I couldn't figure out all the different things, and I knew I had to find out what Tanya desired, what Tanya needs so I can be there. There's a reason when you go on a plane that they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first, because if you are not okay, nobody or anything around you can be okay as well. And I struggled with basics. Because when I looked around where I was living, there was nothing that represented me, not even my favorite color. So as I looked at the color scheme, all the colors in the house, well, at that time it was an apartment, matched what the boys wanted or the ex. There was nothing that represented me. So I decided I would discover my favorite color. I have jeans and t-shirts. So I went on a hunt for jeans and t-shirts. What color do I want this in? What colors do I like? And that was part of my color journey. It also gave me the chance to change small parts of my wardrobe. I went to the thrift store because I didn't have money. The 2 household income dropping down to 1, the bills didn't get informed and people were still calling. So I had to figure out some other things to get me through my journey. And so that was what I did. So pick one thing for you for the next 100 days. Decide what it will be. And as you go through resetting that one thing, it will give you a memory reset so that you can connect in other ways. There's a new connection that you have to now form because there's something that may be triggering you that you need to reset in a memory. I couldn't afford to make major changes to my home where I was, but I decided I'd do something. Rearrange the furniture. It's one activity. Doesn't cost you anything. You can rearrange stuff all that you desire, repurpose some things along the way. That's something that can reset, give you a physical activity because I often share Because we hold stuff emotionally on the inside, our bodies are keeping score. Get out, get it out. Get it out as best you can. I've often shared, get a journal. Write out your thoughts because you've got to get it out. If you have to and you want to, you can go into a personal space and just talk and tell the story to get it out of your system. Don't record it if you don't want any recordings of it. Don't write down stuff that you want other people to see in a journal. If you need to write stuff out that nobody needs to see, as some of y'all have been on here and you heard, get yourself a grill. I bought a grill just to burn the letters that I wrote that I had to get the stuff out my soul. Some of y'all have heard me share that my neighbors thought I could master barbecue. Can't barbecue anything. But all the stuff I needed to tell the ex, all of the things that I was angry with that I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs, but I couldn't scream because then people think I was crazy and want to come and take my kids from me. My children wouldn't have understood, and then there would just be stuff out there, some stuff I just didn't want spoken. But the words still needed to get out my soul so the body wouldn't keep score. Get it out. And then the activity was me rearranging stuff in the house. I rearranged and repurposed stuff. One of the things I'm grateful for, being raised by my grandmother, she taught me how to use and rearrange ordinary things. I decided to take a beautiful comforter. It was a comforter that we bought for one of our anniversaries. I loved it. He bought it for me because I wanted it. I did not want that thing on my bed. So what did I do? I took the comforter and tacked it a little bit in certain spaces and put it on the couch. Now it's a covering for the couch. It's now repurposed in my mind. It was an activity that I did to reset my memory about those moments. So I wasn't attached to being triggered with something that he bought for an anniversary. No, you sit your butt on that now. I got a new thought about this. So I'm not triggered. There's no trauma. And because I reset my mind about it, I got an emotional reset as well. What is going on with you internally that you still feel fresh? Reset that emotion. If you need to write that emotion out to get it out so that you can define it, because my grandmother would often say, if you can define it, you can deal with it. Sometimes we are held hostage because we don't have words. So that's resetting the memory. That walks me into some of the other things I was sharing with an activity, because you need closure on some elements. There's a piece of your marriage that you're going to have to just let be as a closure. But because of the backdrop that many of us are walking in, sitting on the edge of my bed trying to figure out how did I get here? After 11 years of marriage, I found myself going through a divorce, having to raise my 2 sons alone. But I knew there was a way of getting through this. So I decided to do an autopsy on my marriage. In the midst of doing that autopsy, I made some discoveries. I've made them available in this premiere book, Red Alert. Is He the One? The Pocket Guide to Finding the Love of Your Life. The free chapter is available for you in the link below. You found broken pieces, a broken piece to fit into a broken piece that you were okay with. And so you created this connective environment called marriage, full of brokenness, and nobody ever worked on it. But you thought that if you love me enough to deal with my brokenness, if you love me enough or decide to be present enough in the midst of my brokenness, I'll be present enough for yours. But that unwritten rule somewhere along the way got broken. So you ended up in a worse condition after everybody said we're done, the papers were signed, or if you're in the middle of trying to get out of it, where you lost you. Take this time, rediscover some pieces of who you are so that you can reset and realign. So as you reset your emotional backdrop from your divorce to overcome fears, face it. Because sometimes in this chaos that you're walking through, you're going to need to do it moment by moment, because a minute may be too long. A minute was too long for me because I couldn't figure out some things. A minute was too long for me because there was so many things. And I shared earlier that we have layers that we're walking through. What do you have to do for the court system? What is the judge asking for now? And for all of those things that you got to do from a legal perspective, get a folder. You can get a physical folder or a virtual folder, but get yourself a way where you're storing those things in. Give yourself a list. Write out a list of the different things that you have to do. And then Choose the top three so that you're not overwhelmed, because you can easily get overwhelmed in the middle of the divorce with all of the different stuff. Why are they asking me for that? Why does he feel he need that? And then the emotional back and forth that you will have with them asking for stuff that you know good and well that y'all had a conversation early and you thought you were on the same page and this would be how you would settle this thing in divorce. But then somebody got in their ear and told them, oh, if you did X, Y, and Z, you could do this, that, or the other and get that in court. And now they want to ask for that. Man, give yourself the space so that you are whole. Don't make life harder than it has to be. It's already hard enough. Go back to basics. And now, let me leave you with a next level note. So knowing who you are at the core of your being gives you true clarity that wherever you are, however the situation is, you will be fine. And when you encounter other individuals, you are so full of knowing who you are, your loving, giving, supportive self. Take a moment and write down things that you're thankful for about you. I'll start by sharing, for those of you that are showing up today, that are in that hard moments, that difficult task, you are a powerhouse. Let that resonate with your being, because you still show up. You still press through. You still give even though you don't feel like you have enough to give. You still try even though you're not sure why you're still trying. You are still present to the best of your ability, trying to keep your peace and keep all of the things that you got juggling in your world afloat. You are a powerhouse. Don't let the pain of your past be your identity. Don't let the chaos that you walk through be your identity. Don't let the thing that you used to do be your identity. Who you are at the core of your being is amazing. The thing that I had to learn that helped me really resonate in being clear was when I read in Ephesians 2:10 that God said, I am a masterpiece. If the creator of the universe tells you that you are a masterpiece, walk in it, rise in it, do the thing that you know to let that be your identity, because it gives you a certain confidence, a certain thought process. No matter what happens, I will be okay. And no matter what happens today, you will be okay. So know that it is you and not the things that you do or the things that you have that make you amazing. Who you are is found in the presence of God. Who you are is found in the strength of God's being. Who you are, you get to choose. You get to choose what you'll be called. You get to choose what you will answer to. And you get to choose. And in your choosing, choose what suits you best. And if it means that you've got to make some adjustments, because sometimes the identity that we once had, we've got to remove ourselves from and create the new identity that meets what we are doing for our future. So if your future self is not going to be able to carry the things that you currently have, be okay with letting it go. Because if you've ever watched something that needs to go higher and higher, it has to remove some things that are holding it down. And if you've got something in your world that is holding you down, release it. Then I do understand that some of the things in our life, as we're trying to move into a new space and place, we got comfortable with it, we are familiar with it, and we want to have it present. But do not allow familiarity to put you back in the middle of chaos. I have walked that walk, and that is not a landmine that you want to step on. So today, I encourage you, love you, and start by identifying those parts of you that you know to be true of who you are at the core of your being. And so for today, if anything that I've shared with you resonates with you, then it's time to like, comment, and share this with others. And if you want someone to join you on the journey, feel free to go to my website, TanyaEHood.com. There you can click on the Work With Me tab and see the various ways that we can work with one another. In the meantime, this is Tanya E. Hood, walking in my purpose, and I want you to do the same.